The Language of the Elves by Tolkien. So my dream party castle. No, actually, I would make it into something sacred, something powerful, into a church. This is a magnificent passageway. You know, divide and conquer. The one that conquers, the one writes down the real history. How often we see new buildings without any real faces, without character, just architectural impressions of architects impressing each other. But how can we create a society that cherishes a form, a beauty, and materials that are sustainable and they are breathe, so we have healthy environments in our houses? This is an interesting solution that has been made with this old stone building. As you see, between the wooden beams, there is glass. When you go upstairs, it's quite spacious and full of light, such house. That's really interesting way of approaching such buildings. And another piece of charm are those bushes planted over here. And in the summer, here are roses, etc. And they have a little garden that was created by the local council. Somewhere over the hills, there's a castle waiting for us to see. The most important thing about castle life is actually understanding the real heritage, the real history behind, as a lot of history has been lost through the wars, as, you know, divide and conquer. The one that conquers, the one writes down the real history, and everyone else must obey. The same has happened with the Finnic peoples, with the Finnic history, with all the place names and all the greatness that used to be in the past. The Dragon Empire, yes. When you go to the old Finnish capital, Turku, there's on the sarcophage the story how the Christians came and destroyed the Dragon Empire. This building needs some work to be done, a new plaster, etc. But at this moment, it's housing a beautiful restaurant, a tourist attraction. This is the modern manor house. Okay, it's not modern anymore, but that was built next to the old monastery. And on this very moment, it's a hotel, so you can book yourself. So come to Padisa Monastery in Estonia. Such a beautiful and classical manor. I wish all the houses and buildings were stylish like that, like Boundbury in England. Here you can see the outer facade of the old monastery that I suppose was a prehistoric Viking castle. Okay, not prehistoric, but here was the trade route from the sea, a sea that was more closer to us. Such a beautiful entrance to a castle, I must say. You can just press button and call your friend. Here's a beautiful doorway. Imagine you had such doorway at your home. Such circular motion or an arch over a door. That would be such a nice thing. I feel at home when I'm next to stones. That's why our channel is called Stone Hands. You can see perfection in the stone carving and the archway over here. Such dimensions, such architecture, it's musical. The stones, they themselves radiate. In other words, they emit vibration, so they sing. They emit a frequency. And here you can see a lot of limestone, but also the earth stones. The earth stones, they contain different metals. So usually they are paramagnetic. So they attract magnetic forces from the universe. But limestone is mostly diamagnetic, so it repels the magnetic force from the universe. Buildings full of arches are such a pleasure. When you look at the ceiling, There's a lot of stones, many tons of stone, laying over my head, but it's not collapsing. It's holding itself together. Those tiles, they fascinate me, as the floor is so cold. But how can we heat it? One of the reasons why those castles were plastered and hard and lime-washed in the past is because of the humidity that the stones attract to themselves. At our house, which is made of limestone, after I had lime-washed the outer walls, the situation of humidity drastically changed indoors. 1,000 years ago, the climate was much, much more warmer in this hemisphere. Like the Greenland. Yes, the Greenland was green. And the Vikings who lived here. Yes, the Finno-ugric Vikings. They created strongholds, and the sea level was much higher than nowadays in some places. Or, between the UK and the mainland Europe, there was this strait of the land. But here, the sea level was higher, and the fortifications, the castles were built in such places as this one. When we go a kilometer over there, there's the ancient, how would you say, hill fortification of the people who lived here. And they had vivid trade routes as strongholds and also cities and communities. 1,000 years ago, the lands of nowadays Estonia, the Livonia, they were the wealthiest in the northern Europe. But then came the Crusaders, named it the Maryland after Saint Mary, and conquered and built their own relics and history above the old lands of the Vikings. The Varangians, the Varangs, the bodyguards of the Eastern Roman Emperor, they came from these lands. It comes from the word Vara, which means wealth, the riches, and they were the gatherers of wealth, the Vara. The Russian word Tavarish, it also comes from the word Tavara, which means someone who gathers himself material goods. And those Varangs came back to their homeland. They brought a lot of silver coins and other riches. And also in this land, there was the Iron Age melting pot of metals. So many weapons were made on those lands of modern Estonia, Livonia, and southern Finland because of the meteorites that fell over here. To the highest of the high we shall climb. The language of the elves by Tolkien. One of the languages was inspired by Kalevala, the Finnic epos that was gathered from different tribes living over here. And we still speak this secret language. And it's not Finnish, it's not Estonian, it's the old language that we speak over here. It is not spoken by many anymore, but my grandmothers, they were speaking with each other the old language, the true language of the elves, that is still beautiful, vocal. In this land, in the 90s, we had singing revolution, as people were singing together, 100,000 people singing together, songs of freedom. So we know the art of using the voice, the art of vibration, the art of creating reality through song. This is a funny scene. As you can see, there's a lot of layers of brick or stonework, actually, from different eras, of different generations, being involved with the building of this monastery or former castle. If I had the chance, I would make it my own modern home, with luxuries like toilets and central heating. And I would live here, have some big parties going on, events, inviting a lot of tourists to enjoy their time over here. This is a ceiling of the Great Hall. And you see, there's so much stone, so many tons of stone laying and carving this arched ceiling. And roof actually is not supported on the middle, but on the rims. So my dream party castle. No, actually, I would make it into something sacred, something powerful, into a church, a gathering space where people will find their connection with the divine and enjoy the sacred sounds that we can produce in such great halls like under that. In the past, you were able to see sea from this tower, but not anymore. Now you can see the river where the Viking boats and ships used to sail, and there's also some other ruins nearby that someone has made their 20 square meter houses over there. And also from here you can see the beautiful view of the mansion where you can stay. So there's a lot of attractions over here and a really nice place. This is a magnificent passageway through the hole into the Wonderland with Alice. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe, thumbs up, and see you soon again on new places and on new tours. Here you can see the magnificent stone pillar just going up, 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 and up. Those corner stones, they were left out from the plaster, but everything in the middle was plastered hard or lime washed, depending on the taste of the local people. That is something that I desire to see in my dream home. Such beautiful stonework once again. Imagine you live next to such beautiful place in your beautiful home. Such a blissful location to stay and live your life next to a river, to an old castle, and to a lot of history. Enjoy the waters of the upcoming spring. Such a beautiful and magnificent place to spend your time. Look at this beautiful frame, the lower rim of the house, and then you see the window. Beautiful classic window. A joy to look at. This is a house that I would like to restore. It's next to the river. It's beautiful. It's old, made from limestone, and it has got so much potential of having a beautiful properties of a family home. You could have even a multi-generational home in there and more space to host events and enjoy beautiful life next to a river. This is a beautiful tunnel once again, or archway. As you can see, old stonework. I suspect that this place was the stables over here, and that it housed stables and some artisan cottages, some blacksmith or tannery, whatever. Nowadays, here's a restaurant over there. They host weddings and other events. And you can see that there is the mix of Soviet time paving or pavement and that's in front of me a Soviet time cultural house of the small village where we are on this very moment. And the modern expression of the greenhouses that they are manufacturing over here. It's called Lahe Greenhouses, lahehouse.com. And they make it out from the thermal wood. We made our sauna and the upper stairs floor out of thermal wood. So this is a nice place to spend your time, actually. This is the most spectacular patio paving I've ever seen. It's just so different, so strange, so unlevel, but beautiful. This house is made into a residential spa, so there should be some parts and a saunas over here. But I cannot understand, why do you restore a house and destroy all the windows? I really love the modern extensions in the old houses, the modern merges into the old stone. The glass architecture with the stone architecture is such a joy and beauty to observe and to see, and in the cities as well.